It's so wonderful to see you again, Rosie, and congratulations on being appointed to the GCoM Board, the Global Covenant of Mayors, and I'm really
I would
excited
like to congratulate you too, and it's such a pleasure to be working together on the same board, and it's really. I actually thank you, and very happy to be part of this, the GCoM, and to help drive the agenda for the region, along with the fellow mayors such as you, Anna. And I think I'm really excited about joining the group of smart and dedicated people who share common interest and are at the forefront in helping their cities and the world combat climate change. Taking issues pertaining to climate and energy demands, a collective and a unified approach. And I look forward to helping share the agenda and learning at the same time. I know you, especially Anna, you all are way ahead of us. I have much to learn, but we wish what we are doing, and I would love to hear from you what you are doing as well.
Well, thanks, Rosie. I mean, I'm not so sure about that. I was really, it was wonderful to meet you. Was it a couple of years ago now in Colombo, and come and visit you at Town Hall? I was so impressed with the work that you're doing, and also just the governance of the city, and the impressive gender balance you've got at the council, and all of those fantastic women that had recently been elected and were so enthusiastic, but also your staff. So many of your leaders in the waste area, I remember, and some of your other key departments were women that were really thinking very innovatively about sustainable.
Absolutely. And I actually am very proud of that. I'm the first female mayor in 150 years. I mean, Colombo is the largest city in the country and the oldest municipality in the country as well. And we go back 150 years. In the entire 150 years, I am the first woman mayor. And of course, we comprise of 16, the Colombo municipality comprises of 16 departments. And the majority of the department heads are also mayors, women. And the commissioner herself is a woman, sorry. So there are many women. And also the interdepartments also have a large proportion of women. So we have a staff of about 12,000, 16 departments, from the commissioner to the 2 deputy commissioners are women, the municipal treasurer is a woman, the head of planning is a woman, the head of lands is a woman, the head of projects is a woman. So, I mean, if I am to name them, practically every department, except for a few, are headed by women. So I take great pride in that, actually. And I'm happy that you share some similar.
Well, I'm the third woman mayor in Hobart's 100 and it's more than 150 years. But I think it's interesting, Rosie, because women are very present in local government, and it is the level of government that is closest to the people. It's the level of government where women are most likely to be in stronger numbers as elected members. And some part of me wonders, is that why we're seeing such fantastic action on climate change at the city level? Is it one of the reasons? Because women understand that climate change is a really significant threat to our future, and we're also very practical, and we're really keen to roll out practical solutions to climate change, and that's one thing that I think cities are known for around the world, is that we're practical, we've got boots on the ground, and we're not just talking about the threat of climate change, we're actually getting on with the job. And I'm really excited about being part of this alliance as well, because it's pretty impressive when you look at the numbers that the Mayors for Climate, the Global Covenant of Mayors Alliance is reaching. I think it's something like more than 10,500 cities are part of this alliance now. I think it's more than 138 countries are part of it, and we're representing residents in cities. We're representing 1 billion residents of these cities. So it's really exciting that we're on this board, on the governance, and providing some of the leadership for this really impressive alliance that reaches so many people and is representing and assisting all of those amazing 10,500 cities that are actually at the forefront, the climate change champions in the world. And I'm really proud of all of those cities. And if we can help lead this alliance and make it even stronger and make the voice of this alliance even stronger, I think I'll be really pleased to do that. And having you there as a strong voice, I know you're a fantastic, strong advocate for sustainability, and so I'm really excited about it.
Oh, thank you. Climate change for me has always been a top priority in life personally, plus in my working life and in my agenda as the mayor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And very, very similar story for me too. I mean, I think we all understand that this is the world's biggest threat, and
absolutely.
It has the potential.
Actually, it's far bigger than the COVID-19 pandemic. People don't realize how big and how great climate change is, and because first of all, people need to be have the right mindset, right attitude about climate change, because we personally, me as the mayor and the council has been doing a lot of advocacy with regards to from garbage collecting to practically everything. We're teaching people how important the climate is, from keeping the city clean to keeping your environment clean. It has been a huge, I would say it's also a shift with regards to mindsets and attitudes. Now, for an example, in a village in Sri Lanka, we normally every day people we sweep the garden, sweep the house, and they would collect all the garbage and the dry leaves and whatever, and they would burn it. That has been like a cultural thing. So to get them to move from try and composting and doing things differently, and allowing them to think about the environment and how we could save the world, and with climate change, and to live with it has been a challenge. So I quite understand what you're saying in that sense, actually.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons I ran for mayor was also because I could see that all of the really positive and practical change that was happening around the world on climate change was happening in cities. And I also came from a climate change activist background. I set up the Climate Action Network Australia in 1998 when I was working for in the federal parliament, and that was an alliance of all of the NGOs around Australia working on climate change. So that was more than 20 years ago, and in those days we were just trying to raise awareness about climate change. And prior to COVID, it was really exciting because it sort of finally felt with all of those kids marching in the streets right around the world, raising awareness about climate change. It really felt that we were at that tipping point where people were understanding that this really is the issue that we need to unite around and is central to our survival. And then obviously the pandemic has really disrupted that awareness, and we're very focused on that emergency. But I do hope that through our work at the Global Covenant, we can re-energise that public passion and interest in climate change, and ensuring that the cities that people live in are leading the way on climate change action.
For us, flooding and the higher use of energy are two main areas of concern. But while there may be smaller differences in how our cities are affected in the short term, ultimately we all are equally affected, because the negative effects of climate change knows no borders. It truly is the global problem. So, one of the great things I would say that is impacting our city is the flooding, and the high usage of energies. So these are areas that we need to basically address. And what are the areas in your city that impacts the crisis?
Yeah, it's interesting. The issue of wildfires is our biggest threat, and it's actually listed on our city risk register as the greatest threat to our city. And that's because we're surrounded by all of this fantastic bushland that is so beautiful for our city, and the community really appreciates the vegetation and the parks and the national parks around the city. But because of climate change, the bush is becoming drier, and the weather is becoming more extreme. We're having more hot days, more windy days. So there's a real risk that we'll have a really catastrophic fire that will damage our city very substantially, and that's our biggest concern. And we're having to spend more and more money on trying to mitigate that risk and prepare the city for what is likely to be an inevitable large fire. But recently we have also found that flood is a major problem. In 2018, we had what meteorologists call an atmospheric river that just sat on top of our mountain behind our city. And it was only a short period of time, but there was just a deluge, and thousands of properties were damaged, but also a lot of our assets, our council stormwater assets. And, councils don't have endless amounts of resources, and these assets aren't easy to insure. And so we've had to make cuts in other areas in order to repair that damage. So we really are on the front line of those climate extremes, and I think that's why cities are so switched on to climate change, because we can see it already impacting the way we manage our cities, and our city budgets, and our community are really worried about it as well.
I strongly believe renewable energy is the way forward. If you're talking about sustainable development, renewable energy is then the key to sustainable development. We're also encouraging the reduction of vehicular traffic by the use of public transportation, improving the infrastructure and introducing shuttle bus services, transportation like light rails in the future. We were about to do a project, but it was stalled for the time being. So, programs such as the Thinking New and asking people to, carpooling and, transportation. In that sense, we are also implementing plans to introduce cycle lanes, walking tracks in the city. And it's also changing the mindsets and attitudes of people with, how to be conscious of the climate. I would say, say for an example, we have different strata of society. We have low income, the middle income, the upper middle income families. There are some families, they may have 5 people in the house, but they might have 10 cars in the home. And every time they want to go about, they might be going to the same destination, same function. They'll be taking 5 cars for the 5 people, things like that. So changing mindsets and attitudes, doing a lot of advocacy with regards to how important it is for us to be conscious of the fact that, we need to be responsible for the future and our future generations, and climate change is something that we're working on, whether it's through the media, whether it's through, going house to house, using our resources, our officers on the ground, to talk to people. Also on, garbage collection, segregation, composting, and to be very careful with, what we use and not using plastic. We also had a plan. We are about to implement a program where we are trying to ban polythene from the city of Colombo and eventually ban plastics. We are, getting people to use other material, degradable, even if it's, biodegradable solutions instead of plastic bags and polythene and whatever. So now people are aware. You'll find the new generation, the new organizations, the companies, whether it's food packing, whatever, is always biodegradable stuff that they use. And people are also conscious of the fact that they should not buy anything plastic. and they're going looking for things that are more, creative and, thinking outside the box and having more biodegradable stuff used in the city, whether it's regards to packing or, anything of that nature. So the council also has taken a stance to try and ban. With the environmental ministry, we've been having dialogues and to ban polythene and eventually plastic. So these are some of the measures we have taken. Also, the other front, the second front, is to put back into the environment what has been taken from it.
Do you have any priorities as a board member with the GCoM?
Okay. Yes, two of the main important priorities are to learn from others, and share our learning with the group, and importantly to help disseminate these learnings to other cities as well, to help bring as many cities as possible into the fold, because the more cities that realize the importance of the effect and come on board, the larger the impact we can have, I strongly believe.
Rosie, I'm representing the Oceania region on the board, and that's a really interesting region because we've got some of the biggest emitters per capita. Like Australians are one of the biggest per capita emitters in the world, and then we also have nations that are really struggling from climate impacts, struggling to survive even as countries, like all of our Pacific Island countries. And so I'm really hoping that mayors taking leadership together can show the big emitters that there are really practical ways that we can actually take stronger action by working with cities in the region. So it's going to be such an important year this year. We are really in a race to try and get stronger commitments and stronger action right around the world. And it's going to be great working with you, Rosie, to hopefully, bring that voice of cities and mayors to the forefront.
Yeah, and I think, our cities have one of the most important roles to play because by the very nature of the large population and high demand of energy, they have a huge impact on the climate. So it is incumbent upon cities to take the lead and to do everything possible to mitigate this impact. So it is important for you, me, and, the committee to sit together and discuss this, because I strongly believe that this is something beyond even the COVID-19 impact that the world has. So, it is important. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to talk to you and meet again, whether it's virtual or otherwise, and also discuss a very important thing that the world is facing.